What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades, and today we're going to talk about a super duper important EDC item that is often overlooked in 2023, and that is a good wristwatch. What we've got here on the tabletop today is the Bertucci watches A-2T Special Edition. This is an anniversary special edition of the A2 model from Bertucci watches. They predominantly make very well-respected field watches, and that's what this is. I did pick this watch up at longislandwatch.com. I think it's the only watch I've bought from Long Island, although I have perused their website many times. This special edition comes in at $200 in the titanium. It does have some special features above the standard version, and we will talk about those. Let's go ahead and knock out some numbers here. We do have a case width of 40 millimeters. I measured at the crown. That's 41 3/4 millimeters at the crown. The case thickness is 13.5 millimeters. Lug to lug length on this is 49.7 millimeters. Lug width 22 millimeters. The face width on this is 32 millimeters. It does have a recessed crystal on it, significantly recessed. It is 1.15 millimeters deep, and that's 45 thousandths of an inch. And then the factory strap that comes on this single layer Zulu strap is 27 centimeters long. That's 10.5 inches by 22 millimeters wide by a substantial single layer thickness of 1.9 millimeter. I do not like this sand colored strap on this black faced watch. So you can see that strap looks brand new. It's because I never wear it. I went and got another Zulu in black because I like black straps on black faced field watches. Call me crazy, and that's what you have on that. Very simple 22 millimeter Zulu strap change, and I should have showed you the case back on this before I put that strap on. And there you go, titanium case back to match the case on this titanium A2. Gives you all the pertinent information there. It looks like you could, you could spend a couple of days reading that. And we will put it back on the strap here. We're going to strap it on the wrist and give you a good idea how this goes on my nearly 8-inch wrist, I think. I think that's what my wrist is. I'd like to say I go around measuring my wrist all the time, but I actually don't. I don't hardly ever measure my wrist, and I don't remember what it is, but it's not like super huge or anything. I'm only 5'10". So there we go on my wrist. I think I'm like 7 3/4 inch wrist, right at 8 inches. It's not very big at all. 40 millimeter case width. That 49.7 millimeter lug to lug is not too bad. It wears very well on my wrist, tight to the wrist. It is very lightweight on this nylon Zulu. It feels like wearing a piece of gauze around your wrist. It's very, very lightweight. So let's take it off. We'll talk about some features here. Take a close look at the face, see what we got going on. Again, this is the A2T Anniversary Edition is basically what it is, celebrating, I think, the 20th anniversary of the A2. This special edition does get a sapphire crystal. It does get a 10-year lithium battery, and it does feature 200-meter water resistance with a screw-in crown, screw-in case back, both titanium on the titanium case. Like I said, the face width on this is 32 millimeters. You can see it is classic field watch layout as far as the indices go, and the handset is stick hands. You've got a red second hand with a lume pip on it. Everything is lumed on this watch, although the lume markers are on the small side. They are decently lumed, and we are going to put in a lume shot right now. Okay, so here we are. It's as dark as a camel's ass on a desert night. We're going to check the lume on this Bertucci A-2T Special Edition. Let's hit this thing with a little bit of UV light here for just a minute. Like I said, the pip spots on this watch, as far as the lume goes, they're fairly small, so you're not going to get a lot of surface area letting off a big amount of light all at once. And I think the less luminous material you have, the sort of a shorter charge density that you're going to experience, meaning that charge may not last as long. There's not as much material there to absorb light. But what you see here is very legible in the dark. Understated, I would say. Again, small pips on those hour markers. Those stick hands are nicely filled. You can see the pip on the second hand. I think overall in the dark we're pretty decent with the Bertucci A-2T Special Edition, and there was no mention of any type of special lume on this Special Edition version of the watch. So I'm going to assume that at least all of the titanium or regular build A-2T models are going to have lume about the same. And again, we're at the $200 mark. That's not too bad. We're a minute and a half into this right now. I do see sort of a very, very slight fade, but I'm very surprised there's not a big initial drop in the lume on this. It's hanging in there pretty well, because you know as soon as you take off your light source from that lume, there's a big initial drop in just the first couple of minutes of lume brightness, and then it'll sort of just hang in there. And I think this is doing pretty good. All right, so you've seen the lume, you see what I'm talking about. It's a decent lume, even though the pip spots are on the small side. I don't expect any more out of a basic field watch. I mean, this is not a super loomed out dive watch with giant indices on it that can hold a lot of lume. So I think it's okay for what it is. Again, you guys, sapphire crystal. I don't know if it has any anti-reflective on the inside. If it does, it's a very light coating, but I don't have any issues. I know it seems really bad right now, but I've got two huge box studio lights above my table, and even turned down to their lowest level, they put out a ton of light. So that's why you're seeing so much reflection there. Again, it is fully recessed, and it is deeply recessed, almost 1.2 millimeters. That is pretty deeply recessed. This watch does feature just a basic quartz movement. It has been very, very accurate, extremely accurate for me. So no issues there, typical quartz accuracy. And the watch does feature a 10-year lithium battery. Yeah, it's a Bertucci A2 in the T build, the titanium. There's also an A2S in stainless, and I think an A2P for their polymer cases. You can get this model of watch all the way from about $70 up to about $300 for the titanium solar version, which I think is like $269, that I am thinking about looking into. I love solar watches. I love never having to change a battery. I love that, even over a 10-year lithium. So I may pick up one of those solar models if I ever am feeling really fancy as far as wanting to get another Bertucci. I don't often wear a field watch. I'm a chunky dive watch, sort of guy. My typical everyday watch for a beater is going to be a Casio Duro, an MDV 106, 107. My going out to dinner watch is a Helm Vanuatu titanium. So I like, a chunky watch pretty much. This 40 millimeter case width, it seems a little on the small side. It doesn't have as much wrist presence as I would like. And I think the reason is they've gone with a 22 millimeter band width on this for a 40 millimeter case. That's over half the width of the case. I would have liked to have seen this on a 20 millimeter band, considering how lightweight the titanium case is, but that's just the Bertucci design. You can step up to the A-4T, which is a 44 millimeter wide case, but it steps up to a 24 millimeter wide band. So they do the same thing when they step up to the next biggest case size. And you know what? That's okay. It's all part of it. I think that the biggest feature of these watches, one we have not talked about, is the uni-body build on this titanium case. You can see there are no spring bars on this. These are solid titanium bars that are uni-body to the actual case. They're machined out of the same titanium. They are integral to the case. Now, that is both good and bad. That makes for an extremely strong, rugged strap system. You are not going to lose this watch because a spring bar let go on it. At the same time, there are certain situations that I would absolutely not wear this type of watch, and one of those is in an industrial facility. If you work in a factory and you work on a machine, do not wear a watch like this. A titanium case with very thick integral crossbars on it and a heavy strap like this. If a machine caught this watch, it would pull you into it before you could do anything. It would be instantaneous. It is not going to break this watch off of your arm. It is going to pull you in. And anybody that's ever seen anybody pulled into a piece of equipment, they often come out with fewer body parts than they had when they went in. And when I say often, I mean majority of the time, because machines will fuck you up. They don't care if you're there or not. They've got a cycle to complete, and they do it. So if you stick your hand in there, it's going to get crushed, cut off, maimed. I would not recommend this watch for that. On the other hand, say you are out in a mountainous region and you are screwing around right on the edge of a cliff and slip and fall off, and you're going to fall to your doom. You're dead. You're dead. You realize after the first 20 feet going down, you're dead. But then, miracle of miracles, your watch band snags on something and it halts you, and it will. It'll probably rip your arm off, but it will stop you from falling. This is pretty stout. These modern tactical Zulu and NATO straps are freaking strong. This material is thicker than the seatbelt material in your car, and you depend on that to save your life in a wreck. This stuff will not break on this watch. So you're not going to lose it, but I do recommend that you not wear in certain situations, like working around equipment that I mentioned. Other than that, it's just a watch, guys. It's an analog quartz watch, very accurate. It's got a unique look. It is price-wise approachable. For a titanium case watch. These are $200 for the special edition. The standard A-2T is $50 less. I think they're $140 or $150 maybe. And you're not going to get, I don't think you get sapphire crystal on that, and you're not going to get the lithium battery, but I believe they are all 200 meter water resistant. So, not a huge loss depending on what you want. And there you go. That's it. That is the Bertucci A-2T Special Edition. Again, I did pick this one up at Long Island Watch. And you know what? It went well. I'm not going to jump out there and say a whole bunch about Long Island. I've only done one transaction with them, but it went well. So no issue there. Their prices seemed competitive, and they had stuff in stock. So yeah, it worked out good for me for this Bertucci A-2T Special Edition. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of my videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.